Hello, this is JilliBling, and I have a project to share today using Prized Peony Bundle. And here are the dies, and this is mostly using the dies that make the flower. And here's a stamp set. Today we'll use some of the words in here. And these words are from a Celebration stamp set, but today we'll use different words. And this I found on Pinterest. Mary Deatherage made this design, and I copied the front somewhat close. I made a few changes. Okay, let's get started. So here are the pieces. And I'm using some retired product on here, but it's very easy to change it out for anything current. For example, the embossing folder. There's quite a few folders out there that are really subtle that will work just as well. So there's the base. This paper is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and this is what I'll put into the embossing folder and run it through. Just because if I put the top piece of this paper in, chances are I'd get texture on the back, and then you would see the texture on the inside, and I didn't want that. So there's that, and this just gets stuck down, and because it's textured, I'm going to attach it with liquid glue, and chances are I'll have to trim it a little bit. But when you use your regular adhesive on textured paper, it doesn't have 100% paper-to-paper contact, so it many times does not stick very well. So that gets put right on there. Because it's liquid glue, I can move it about for a few minutes, maybe for a minute. Just make sure it's stuck down. Okay, so that's good. Let me see if I need to trim it. That looks pretty good. Okay, so that's done. This gets attached here. I have just a little bit of a layer of the Petal pink showing. And this is old paper too. But you could use any floral print you have. It's easy to substitute out all of these different things. Or even just the plain granite paper, that's fine too. So this piece here, I'm going to color it in a bit. So let me do that first. So when you go to color it in, keep in mind that this will be covering up quite a bit. And when I'm coloring these leaves, it doesn't have to be perfect, it's just to show a hint of color. For the flower and for the leaves, because it's more just a background. And the flower that we're going to make will cover up a lot of this background. And after you have it completed, if you find you need to color just a little bit more, that's easy enough to do. But if you have this stamp set, you could even, on white paper, just stamp it in granite gray, and achieve the same look as this paper. So that was Petal Pink Dark. This is Petal Pink Light, and I'm not taking the time to blend. Just give it a hint of color. Let's see, I'm not sure what that, I think that's a flower. And I'm trying to leave the tips of these flowers white. So it almost looks like a white flower with just a little bit of pink hue to it. I probably don't need to color this one because the flower will be covering this. And I would have it attached to that layer, but I know when it comes time to do the edges of this paper, I would probably end up coloring on that little layer. Okay, and then onto the leaves, I'm using soft seafoam. And again, not coloring all of it. Some of these things I'm not even sure. Like up here, what that is. That might be a flower. But now because it's green, now it's a stem or a leaf. And you could see that I'm not taking time to color in every little bit. Okay, that'll be about there. So I've had this stamp set, and I've used the stamp because I love the flower. But the dies to make this flower, no stamp, they kind of intimidated me. But every time I saw someone make something, I admired it. So today's the day. Carol sent me a message looking for sympathy words, and I found some really nice words in this set. And I thought, you know what? The retiring list is coming out tomorrow. And this has been around for a while. If I don't use it, that's not good. So, made it a mission to use it today. And it's so pretty. I'm so happy I did. I really like that flower. Okay, so we are almost done with coloring. And you can tell. No dot put in on that at all, but it looks really pretty. Okay, so this gets attached to the petal pink layer. Right in the middle. And if I need to color right in here, I will. Or if I need to color any of these things, like maybe that stem right there. It's easy enough. To give it a little color. So this will go about here. Okay, so once again, attaching to texture paper. I'm going to use my liquid glue. I'm going to put it off to the side just a bit. And chances are I'll have to trim it, and I'd rather trim at the bottom rather than here at the top. Okay, and then this, it's a lot of layers. It's really thick. It's kind of heavy. This can go right about here. Sure enough, it colors all of my little flowers on the designer paper. Oh, I'm hearing a noise that I think might make the dog bark, but we'll see. Okay, that looks good. And then, let's see what else we are. This is a mask for doing the inside. Well, we could do the inside. So the inside, I want to use the words, I'm trying to make these sympathy cards. Sorry for your loss. And then, my thoughts are with you. So, my thoughts are with you will go on the inside. And I'm going to stamp that in granite gray. Oh, the ink pads for today are soft seafoam, petal pink, saffron, and granite gray. And I'll put all this on my blog. Okay, let me test it. Perfect. Very good. And the sorry for your loss is on the little scratch paper. That's going to go on the front. I hope this paper is big enough. Yes. And I'm going to trim that out closely. So if I don't get it stamped straight, that's just fine, because it all has to be trimmed anyhow while I'm at it. Whoever gets this project box will appreciate those. A little bit close, but it's okay. And this will be for the front. And I'll trim that in just a minute. So at the bottom, I'm going to put some of the flowers in Petal Pink. So I'm going to do it just like this project here. Thank you, Mary, for sharing. It's a beautiful card. So I'm going to put 3 at the bottom, and many of them will be partial, which is fine. So 1, 2, I should leave room for leaves. 3. Okay, and this is a mask. And the mask is so I can put leaves on these without getting green on my flowers. Leaf. Leaf. Maybe right over here. Just a little bit of a leaf. And then some right on here. I love masking. Okay, that looks good. And then with this stamp set comes this little abstract geometric looking thing. This right here. So I'll put some of that on in Granite Gray. Granite Gray. Just random spots. Just a little bit. Okay. Inside is done. Pretty, huh? Okay, now time to work on the front. Take the paper base. No, this is something different. This is for cutting the flowers. I was like, I know I already did something here. There it is. Okay, we're getting there. Done, done. Boy, it's kind of heavy. So let's see what else we have here in this pile. Pearls for the end. Sorry for your loss, I cut that out. So this is just hand cut, and just skim right along the letters. And just try to keep equal distance from the letters the whole time you're cutting. And if you could do that, it looks really nice. And if that just makes you nervous or you think you can't do that, just cut it in a little square or a rectangle. A lot of people have been needing sympathy cards, so this is going to be a good one. Okay. There it is. And this is Granite Gray ribbon. So that just needs a big bow. because it's a little bit of a thick ribbon, I'm not going to do a double bow because that just doesn't work out very well. Oh, a big bow, not a little bow. Big bow. But the ribbon is really pretty and sheer or satin with the sheen on it. Oh, I'm making it small. And then with glue dots, I can adjust the shape of the bow. And I might trim that a little bit in the end, but for now that's good. Okay, tear tape we'll use for making the flower. So these papers here are to make the flower. So that'll make the petals, the leaves, and the flower centers. Oh, and then this is for the doily. Did you notice the doily on here? There's a stamp set in the catalog. It's called Encircled in Friendship, and the bundle includes all of these doilies. So if you're a doily lover, you can make any combination of doilies, any size you like. They're really nice and they work together really well too. So for that, let me find the dies. I know it's right here. Here what they are. So here's the dies, and it's 2 pieces and they just fit together. I attached them with washi tape. So I'll run that through. And what's interesting is when you run those through, this circle cuts out the center. But you could just lay it right back in place. And you know the flower covers most of it, so you don't need to if you don't want to. So now all these pieces, this is what intimidated me. So let me show you about all these pieces. Just so you'll know. This part is easy. The flower centers. I'm going to just do 2 of these. This piece right there. Then the leaves. There's 5 different leaves and 4 flower parts. So let me put the leaves on here. Flower part. I know that looks like a funny flower part, but it works together really cool. And I'll help you tell the difference between all these things here too. Okay, so for the flowers, or the leaves, if you put them in size, in order of size, you could see there's many different ones. So I'd say just cut out 1 of each, 2 of this one. Then these little bits are just for flower or leaf detail, and that's right here. And we're going to be using a dauber just to make the colors look just a little bit different. When you look on here, you'll see that there's 3 leaf details, and it's for the 3 biggest ones. 1, 2, and then here's the 3rd one. The remaining 2 leaves, the smaller leaves, are made just to tuck in underneath, and they don't have detail on it, but it works out just fine. See right here, this part. Okay, and for the flowers, there's 4 parts, and these are all the correct size up. So there's 4 different parts: big, almost big, medium, and small. So just cut 1 of each of those. Okay, let me get all these pieces and then we'll put them together. Okay, there's all those pieces cut out. Okay, this is gonna, you know what, I'm gonna stick this doily on before we make the flower. So the doily will go right about here. And for the doily, I'm gonna run a ring of glue underneath inside the circle. And most of it will be covered by the flower, because you know when you put adhesive on the underside of vellum, it shows through. But it doesn't matter this time. Right there. And then for this circle, just glue in the middle. The flower is going to cover it all. Okay, so I'll give that just a minute to dry. And this will go down there. Okay, so let's start with the leaves. Leaves, there's 5 leaves and 3 little detail parts. So here's the 3 detail parts, and how to know which part this fits onto. You see this side, how it's kind of wavy? It matches up perfectly with that. This matches up here, and this one matches up here. And these are the 2 without detail parts. So to make it so you could tell you have 2 pieces and you took the time to make the 2 pieces, let's take soft seafoam ink, soft seafoam dauber, and just put a little color around the edges. See, that's already looking really good compared to these. And then on this piece, how about color on the inside? Just choose any. You could be on the inside or the outside, just so when you're daubing it here with the darker color or with the soft seafoam, same color, color on color, it looks different than the inside. I just wanted to be clear that, yep, that's an add-on piece. So, outside edge. And then this one I'll do the inside part of it. And it's really subtle. It's not like you could obviously tell those are 2 pieces. It just looks like detail to the leaf, shadowing. And then on these, just choose a side, maybe both sides. They'll make the center look a little raised up. But I definitely want to leave some darker and lighter. Okay, that's it. That's it for soft seafoam. So I'll use my liquid glue, and it goes right here, right along the edge at the bottom, and then that just lays right on top. Okay, same here. Now hold this up in just a minute, and then you could see how the dauber made it just a little bit darker and how it works out. Okay, so I'll let those dry. Okay, so there's the 5 leaves, and I'll hold up these 2. So you could see we had the dauber right here, the dauber on the inside there. So now you could tell the difference in the 2 colors. And then the same with this one. Just a hint of color. Okay, so the leaves are done. So now to building the flower. This is a part that so intimidated me. So I'm going to put these pieces out, smallest to largest. And all you do is take the smallest and it goes right into this little slot. Maybe it should go from bottom to up. Maybe I'm doing it the wrong side. I think I'm doing it the wrong side. There we go. So just slide it down to where you want it to go. The smallest piece, I'm sure that there's a purpose, but it doesn't fit as perfectly as these pieces do. I'm going to take it apart and do it again in just a minute, but I just want you to see how easy it is. See how each of them just slide right into there? So that's a lot of layers of paper, but look how pretty that is. And when you flip it over, there's these little notches, and they all kind of line up, and then you know you have the flower right. Except that first one. Okay, push the first one down. Okay, so layer number 2 and 3 are lining up. So see how those are all lining up right now? And it looks really pretty. Oh, that's why that one isn't. But before I take too much time to line them up, I want to do a little bit of sponging on the flower. Oh, that looks good there. Because look at what a difference with the sponging. You could tell the low parts and the like the high parts that are out in the air, these are still young petals. So to do that, petal pink, and this one I sponged and I made it really dark. I'm going to try to do this one just a little bit lighter. So I guess on the internet, whenever I saw anyone that made this, I thought, flowers, we have roses out in the yard. They're not like that. They're darker toward the center and lighter toward the outside. And I know now after getting it, it would be much easier to sponge the outside edges. But the way my flowers grow, it's darker in the center. So that would be the center part, because this will tuck right into there. Then I might be able to do it while it's on here. That's down the lower part closer to the bud. That's a little bit darker, and I want to get some darker right in through here. I'm trying to keep this one lighter. Okay, so that's just a little bit. But I think when I put some paper that's not like that right against it, yeah, that looks good. So then, hold on. This goes into here. Oh, it's latching on. I know that piece does something. Okay, so I want to sponge like down into here. It's like I have to put it together and take it apart each time. So that goes there. This goes here. Let's see what's left to be sponged. I think this piece right in here. The first piece. Will it come out? Right in here. I know that that does something important, but I just haven't figured it out yet. Okay, let's see how it's looking. I think that's good. I think it's time to really put it together. maybe a little bit of color right in here. I wonder if maybe if I put this in backwards, I could protect. Look at that. Okay, I think it's time to put it together. Keep that nearby just in case. Okay, so let's get it all in place. Oh, and you know what, while we're at it, these little saffron flower center pollen makers, I might have enough color on here. Saffron ink. Okay, that's good. So, start with the smallest, and it goes right into here. And this goes into the next big one. And this goes into the next big one. See, that's not hard at all. I don't know why I was so intimidated by it. Then let me get all these little, other than the smallest one, all these pieces line up right down here. Then when you flip it over, it looks marvelous. Okay, that one I just want it down a little bit lower. Okay, so now that I like how the flower is, I'm going to flip it over, use my tear tape just to hold it in place after that work. I don't want anything moving. And there's probably a real way you should do this, but this is working for me. Okay, and I'm going to put dimensionals in between the layers so that, see this one, how you could see the shadows? That was achieved by putting a dimensional in there. But I put a dimensional in this one, and then I couldn't put my little yellow pieces in there. So I'm going to put them in there now. A little bit of glue. This is the center. Right there. This is much easier than I thought. Just some of those pieces, for instance, the smallest one is just kind of a rectangle. It's like flowers don't have rectangles on them. Okay, so those pieces are there. Now I'm going to add a few dimensionals to make it obvious that there's all these layers. That kind of makes the shadows make it look a little darker toward the center too. Each of the layers. And I'll hold this up in just a minute. But you could see each of the layers I'm putting on a dimensional. This is going to be a hand deliver card. There'll be no mailing this thing. It's kind of holding it together too. Besides the, okay. See all those dimensionals? Pretty. Okay. So this part here is kind of popping up with all those dimensionals, so I'm going to put a few glue dots in there. How about 3? Just to hold it closed. 1, 2, right there. Okay, so the flower is done. See, that wasn't so bad. And now, I think it's just time for assembly. So the flower could go here. I want to see the doily out along the edge. So I'm going to put 3 big dimensionals, you know, more dimensionals. And I'm purposely putting only 3, and I'm going to put them toward the center so I could tuck the leaves in. There'll be no leaves at the bottom. I'll put one right here. And this could go just like that. Okay. Then this will go right on here. That's really sweet. Let me see about leaves first. So this one could go here. Let me get my fancy leaves first. Maybe this time I'll try it a little different. That one, this one. Those are kind of big though. Maybe if I tuck them in further. I don't know. I kind of like this layout. That one all by itself. Okay. Here, don't tell anyone. There's a dimensional in the way. Yeah, that's better. That could go there. This one under here. I'm leaving room for the bow. Okay, that looks good. So, liquid glue again, just down at the bottom. And I'll put a dimensional under the tip of each of these leaves. Aren't those leaves pretty how they turned out? Can't believe I waited this long. So the retiring list is coming out tomorrow, like I said. So if you want anything, get it before it's gone. Because I think when things retire, oh, that looks good there, half on the leaf. It's while inventory lasts, and sometimes they put some things on sale. So watch for that. And let me know if you want anything. I could get it ordered, or I'll have links on my blog. My blog is JilliBling.com to my online store, and you could get anything. You could shop at 2 a.m. if you want. Anytime, anything you want. Keep in mind there's a clearance rack too. That's always fun to get things at like 1/3 the cost. Okay, oh, so mini dimensionals under the leaves, just to hold them down. I need more minis. Oh, I just have regular. Well, let's see if the regular work. Just have to tuck them in a little further. Maybe I'll put one under the two of these, maybe. There. Okay, and now the bow, which will cover up this little bottom bit. So for that I will use 3 glue dots. 1, 2, 3. So this will tie, that will hold the knot, and this will hold the 2 sides. Maybe. I think it'd rather stick to me than to the vellum. One more. Well, I might have to adjust those glue dots. There's that one. Well, if they stick, that will make a cute bow. Okay, that'll work. And pearls. So I'm going to put on 3 pearls. One of each size. 2, 3. So there it is. Not hard at all, huh? Well, thank you for watching and for tuning in. I hope you have a great day. And until next time, take care. Bye.